In the ruins of Rome, the names of conquerors echo through time, but every legend has a beginning. And behind Julius Caesar, the man who would end the Republic, stood another figure, his uncle by marriage, Gaius Marius, a general, a statesman, a populist, and a revolutionary in his own right. Marius shaped both Caesar's destiny and the world he sought to rule. Today, we dive into the untold story of how Gaius Marius forged the foundations of Julius Caesar's rise. Chapter 1. Rome in turmoil. The late Roman Republic was a place of chaos. Power was contested between the aristocratic Senate and rising populist leaders who claimed to represent the people. In this world of political violence and shifting loyalties, Gaius Marius had risen from humble origins to become a 7-time consul, an unprecedented achievement. Plutarch describes Marius as a new man, a novus homo, who lacked the noble ancestry of Rome's elite. Yet through military brilliance and ruthless ambition, he climbed to the very summit of Roman politics. He reorganized the Roman legions, opening service to the poor. This reform created professional soldiers, loyal not to the Senate, but to their general. In doing so, Marius not only strengthened Rome's armies, but planted the seeds of its eventual downfall. Young Julius Caesar, born into a patrician family, grew up in this atmosphere. Though noble by birth, his family's political influence had waned. His Aunt Julia was married to Marius, giving the boy a direct connection to Rome's most controversial and powerful leader. Chapter 2. Marius the General. Suetonius tells us that Caesar revered his uncle Marius even as a child. For the young Caesar, Marius represented both the possibilities of power and the dangers of ambition. Marius's military genius was undeniable. He restructured Roman discipline, armed his soldiers more effectively, and pushed Rome's empire further than before. Victories in Africa, where he crushed the Numidian king Jugurtha, and triumphs against Germanic tribes like the Cimbri and Teutones made him the savior of Rome. Statues and honors celebrated him across the city. But, Plutarch reminds us, every rise carries its shadow. The Senate despised Marius's populism, his disregard for aristocratic privilege, and his ability to stir the masses. To them, he was dangerous, reckless, a man who sought tyranny under the guise of reform. For young Julius Caesar, the lesson was clear. Marius had shown that military success could elevate a man beyond the traditional barriers of Roman politics. But he had also shown that the Senate's hatred could destroy even the most decorated general. Chapter 3. The Marian shadow over Caesar's youth. When Caesar was just a teenager, Rome erupted in violence. Marius and his ally Lucius Cornelius Cinna clashed with the forces of Sulla, a general aligned with the Senate's conservative faction. Civil war tore the Republic apart. Marius seized Rome with brutal force, filling the streets with blood. Suetonius and Plutarch record how executions of political enemies became routine. Even senators were murdered without trial. Rome's government became hostage to competing warlords. As Caesar, as the nephew of Marius, was directly caught in this storm, when Sulla ultimately triumphed and declared himself dictator, Caesar's family was marked as enemies. Sulla demanded that the young Caesar divorce his wife Cornelia, the daughter of Cinna. Caesar refused. His defiance was dangerous. According to Plutarch, Sulla reluctantly spared Caesar's life only after friends and allies begged for mercy. Even then, the dictator is said to have warned, "In this Caesar, there are many Mariuses." This chilling remark reveals how deeply Marius's influence had shaped the young man. Even his enemies saw in Caesar the shadow of Marius's ambition. Chapter 4. Lessons in Power. Mary Beard, in her book SPQR, reminds us that Marius was both a role model and a warning. His reforms professionalized the Roman military, but also created a system where generals held more loyalty than the Republic itself. Caesar absorbed this lesson. Later in life, when he crossed the Rubicon and marched on Rome, his legions followed him not because of loyalty to the Senate, but because they were his men, bound by years of service and his personal rewards. In many ways, Caesar perfected the path Marius had pioneered. Where Marius had clashed violently with the Senate, Caesar learned to cloak his ambitions in legality, carefully playing politics until he could strike with precision. But Caesar never forgot his Marian roots. He would later restore Marius's statues to public honor after Sulla had torn them down. To Caesar, honoring Marius was not only an act of family loyalty, it was a political message. The populist cause, though bloodied, lived on in him. Chapter 5. Marius as Caesar's foundation. The connection between Marius and Caesar is not simply family. It is structural. Without Marius, there could be no Caesar as we know him. Marius's rise as a novus homo showed that Rome could be bent by military force and populist appeal. He demonstrated that tradition was not unbreakable. His military reforms created a new type of soldier, one that would follow men like Caesar and Pompey, leading to the civil wars that ended the Republic. And on a personal level, the Marian connection gave Caesar both prestige and danger. He was born with noble blood, but without Marius, he might have remained an obscure aristocrat. Instead, he was marked early as the heir of a radical tradition, one that challenged the old order. Suetonius records how his early career was delayed by his Marian ties. Yet, ironically, it was that same connection that gave him a mythic lineage, linking him to Rome's savior, the man who had saved the city from the Cimbri and Teutones. Chapter 6. The Marian Legacy in Caesar's Dictatorship. When Julius Caesar eventually became dictator, the echoes of Marius resounded in every decision. Like Marius, he relied on the loyalty of his soldiers rather than the Senate. Like Marius, he presented himself as a man of the people, opposing entrenched aristocrats. Yet, unlike Marius, Caesar mastered the art of forgiveness and clemency, using mercy as a political tool. But even in this, the Marian model lingered. Caesar knew from Marius's bloody example what unchecked violence could do to Rome. He sought a more careful path, though in the end, his assassination proved that the Republic still feared another Marius in their midst. So when we speak of Julius Caesar, the man who toppled a republic and founded an empire, we must remember the figure who came before him. Gaius Marius was not just an uncle by marriage. He was a living example of ambition without limit, of reforms that changed Rome forever, of the possibility and peril of challenging the Senate's power. Caesar inherited his ambition, his populism, and his reliance on the military from Marius. In the end, he did not just surpass his uncle. He fulfilled the vision that Marius had only begun. If you've enjoyed uncovering the story behind Julius Caesar and the hidden figure of Gaius Marius, make sure to subscribe to Architects of Empires. Every week, we revealed the forgotten mentors, allies, and rivals who shaped history's greatest leaders. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode, and join us as we uncover the true architects behind the empires.